What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to kdjTV on the YouTube machine. Today, we have got buckle up major, underlined, all caps, bold, major gameplay news about MLB The Show 23. Tuesday, February 14th's feature premiere was all about gameplay, and SDS confirmed a bunch of information, gave us new information. Negro Leagues players are confirmed to be used in all modes of MLB The Show, not just storylines, so that's super cool. There are going to be franchise developments with ways that you might approach the draft differently. There are Diamond Dynasty improvements on how you might approach team building. That was just a teaser. We don't really know what that means yet. We kind of do with the captain's mode and ideas like that, but we don't really know the gist of it yet. But they took a lot of steps, so they say, to make the game feel unique, but most importantly, work better. Work as intended, if you will. So we're going to jump right in and not waste any more time because, boy, I mean, this is deep, important information. They said all the right things on Tuesday. All right, chat/YouTube. Here we go. Gameplay feature premiere. We're going to just have it on in the background here with no sound. We're going to go over it as it all happens. So the very first thing they talked about here, by the way, handy-dandy spreadsheet of information like I always have. Fielding. Fielding is revamped. Fielding seems to be revamped every year. But the important things to talk about as we try to slide here. Okay, watch how the outfielders are reacting to the ball off the bat. What they called outfield start transitions have been rebalanced. These are not new. We've seen it in the past couple years of MLB The Show. But when a fly ball is hit, your outfielder's reaction to that fly ball is going to be now related, as it should have been from the start, on their fielding rating. One of the things that they said that I love, and I feel like it kind of got brushed onto the rug a little bit, the field is not playing as big as it should be. What does that mean? That means that, in the developer's opinion, too many fly balls, line drives, hard hit things in the gap are being caught. It's because too many outfielders, even if they have bad defensive ratings, are just flying to the ball. So, in theory, we could say that it will be easier to drive gaps in the upcoming game because they want the field to play as big as it is. That is music to my ears. That's been a complaint of mine for, since MLB 16. Just the nature of baseball video games. Too many balls are run down in the gaps. So now, in theory, that's updated. They also added new animations for robbing foul balls, which is, cool. I'll believe it when I see it as far as, the conversion of all of these robberies, but hey, I'll take it. The other thing, very important here, that was a really nice animation on the fielding, by the way. That's a nice new animation as well. Hundreds of new animations in the game. The biggest thing that has been changed with fielding is the throwing accuracy meter. We all know the throwing accuracy meter. It's just like timing. It's just timing. You could do it. I can do it. A lot of us can do it with our eyes closed. Throwing accuracy for sure matters. All these attributes actually make a difference, but you could just time it right the same time for every fielder regardless of their accuracy range, and you'll still get a good throw. That's changing now. The difficulty of the play being made and the difficulty of throw that's about to happen, that green region is going to slide left or right depending on where, or depending on the difficulty of the play. So, look at this. Look, it could be over there. I think I did too fast. There it is. Look, boom, it's over there. So now you have to time it in such a way, it's gradually moving. That's super cool, super hard, super cool. The skill gap, it's good for the skill gap, actually, because it means you'll have to actually try and not just mindlessly field the position. In theory, this adds errors to the game if you're not good at fielding or throwing. And, it adds another element to the game. Like I said, fielding is no longer just mindless. Is it a win? Is it an L? I guess it's to be determined. We'll have to play it in the tech test, which comes out February 15th, by the way. But I like the concept. I want to see it in action. I want to feel it in action. The other thing that comes with this, so if you hit the yellow regions on that throwing accuracy bar, you will then create, I think they basically said, a dart throw, a coin flip, a 50-50 chance of your first baseman making an athletic play. Most likely a pick play. Maybe ones they gotta jump and come back down on the bag. Which means, say it with me, friends, first base defense matters. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. First base defense matters. Frank Thomas and his 57 overall fielding, which might even be too much, is now going to cost you in the field if you don't make perfect throws every time. Sign me up. Sign me up, because, listen, I'm totally fine with, like, I used to play first base when I was little. Stand there and catch the ball. But, like, at some point, you got to make a play. So I'm a big fan of these fielding changes on paper. I want to see them in action. I love them on paper. Very minor thing here. There are 4 new quirks. I will pause it on the screen so we can see them. 4 new quirks. Pickoff Artist increases success rate of pickoffs. I feel like that's mostly an offline quirk. I don't really see a lot of pickoffs online. Maybe that'll change. On the bottom here, Table Setter. Performs better when no runners are on base. I like that. That's good for leadoff hitters. It's good for number 2 hitters. I'm a fan. Break Outlier. Apparently, they made things very clear in this feature premiere. As it's currently constructed, on a pitcher's 3rd or 4th time through the order, they start losing break because they get tired. But now, pitcher will lose less of that break when they're tired. Basically, if you have a crafty pitcher who just throws a ton of junk, they might get this type of quirk, which is alright. And then Bad Ball Hitter, which is scary, excels at hitting pitches outside the strike zone. I hope that this means they have eliminated the PCI leaving the strike zone. Because this special quirk, I feel like everybody's a bad ball hitter. This special quirk is not unique unless they've done that. But, well, you know, we'll see. We'll see. The other thing they said about quirks I was really happy with, they eliminated passive quirks. They just don't exist anymore. You now know exactly what you're using, what quirks exist, what's being stacked, and how it all relates together. This one's big. We'll talk about this now. This is big. Goodbye. Okay. The clutch attribute. The clutch attribute now means something. They did a really good job of explaining stuff in this feature premiere. When there are runners in scoring position, your clutch attribute will replace your hitter's contact ratings, thereby either giving them a boost or making them worse in that clutch scenario. On the reverse side, if you're pitching with runners in scoring position, your pitching clutch will replace your hits per 9. Again, it remains to be seen how this will actually work, what the relationship develops, but I'm excited that they gave an attribute meaning. They could have just eliminated it, but instead they gave it meaning, and I'm for that. I'm 100% for that. They recognized that it was essentially a worthless attribute. So, good for them, good on them for making a change. Next, swing analysis. We'll talk a little bit about swing analysis. Shout out again to SDS for basically formally saying, listen, we made mistakes. We were not as attentive to this as it should have been. We did not explain things as well as we should have. Not so much saying that hitting was broken in 22, but essentially saying that hitting was broken in 22. So they completely revamped the way we look at swing analysis. Note this bottom left corner here. We talked about this a little bit after the Storylines feature premiere, but now they've actually explained it fully. It just makes more sense the way it's displayed. The most important thing, they said this, their hitting engine, the #1 most important thing with their hitting engine is timing. So that's the thing you see first on the left. Swing timing impacts more than anything else. Secondly is your PCI placement. Very important. You'll notice here there's just 1 dot now in the center of the PCI. That is your perfect. That's what you gotta hit. So super cool that they did that. I appreciate that. And then they made the advanced stats just easier to understand. If you do X and you do Y, you get Z. That's your swing result at the bottom. So shout out to them for at least displaying it in a way that makes sense. Again, it all remains to be seen if it works and makes sense, but at least it's displayed in the correct way. So I'm appreciative of that. The next thing, and this is the one everyone cares about. This is huge. I'm trying to find exactly where it starts here. Okay, hitting updates. Yes, you heard it here. Hitting updates. First things first, when you set up MLB The Show, you get to choose from one of these preferred gameplay styles. If you enter Diamond Dynasty, it doesn't matter what you picked, it's automatically competitive. They said that in the feature premiere. There are certain things now that come along with clicking on the competitive mode, and they all sound juicy, and they all sound like they're actually going to fix problems. So, the developers acknowledge that there is simply way too much contact with 2 strikes. There are too many foul balls. Not that there are too many balls in play. I think that's fine. There were just too many, like, curveball, down and in at your back foot, late foul ball. That's impossible. That should not happen. So there are fewer foul balls and more strikeouts. You say, great, but how did they do that? What analysis or what balancing did they tweak, or what logic did they input into the game? They did something drastic, and I'm a big fan of it. We needed to rectify it, and we did. That's a direct quote from the stream. There is now This is huge. A 50% decrease in your vision rating when you play competitive mode. PCIs are about to be much smaller than ever before. I love it. Talk about skill gap, let's make it so you have to be skilled to hit the ball. In the past, they have done just those tiny little fixes, like adding logic to the game to stop foul balls, or doing this or doing that. This represents the complete reverse course, go big or go home moment. If this doesn't fix it, I don't know what will. They are not giving us a new hitting engine this year. That's essentially confirmed. But if it doesn't work this time, it's time to throw it all away and start from scratch. But kudos to them for just taking a shot in the dark here and going for it. I'm a big fan. They also said there were way too many like cheap, fluky, nonsense late hits this year. So what have they done? They've gotten rid of a lot of them. I also think the lessening, the decreasing of the vision rating will do that as well, because it'll be harder for you to just ticky-tack the ball. Here's the plate vision. Plate vision on the left is offline, casual. PCI on the right is competitive. Now, these are the same difficulties, but just different modes. Notice the difference here. Big fan. Big fan. Last few other things we could talk about here. Just more like housekeeping stuff. Rule changes. Boom. We'll just leave it on this screen. The shift, banned. Gone. The new shift rules in MLB are officially in MLB The Show 23. Love that. Universal DH is available in every Diamond Dynasty mode. Ranked, BR, events, everything. You now don't have to hit with pitchers. Thank goodness. Unless you want to hit with Shohei Ohtani as a two-way player, because they have confirmed, just like they did last year, but hopefully for real this time, that you can use two-way players in Diamond Dynasty. When he's not pitching, he could be DHing or playing one of his secondary positions. So that's major. That's huge. That adds so much functionality and utility to Shohei Ohtani. And some of these Negro League legends that did a million things. And then lastly, co-op is back, and co-op has ranked rewards. Everybody wanted it. The co-op ranked ladder is going to look a lot like standard rank seasons. When you make World Series at 900, get rewards. So if anyone's looking for someone to carry to World Series, not be carried by, but anyone to, if you want to carry me to World Series in co-op, I'm down. Just DM me. All right, everybody, that was a lot of information, a lot of energy in a very short amount of time, but I'm just trying to get you guys the nuts and bolts. That was a 30-minute feature premiere that we covered in about 10 or 11 minutes. Stay tuned to this channel, kdjTV, for all MLB The Show 23 news. Like, subscribe, and the most important thing today, comment down below your favorite thing or the thing you're most excited about for MLB The Show 23 based off the gameplay feature premiere. Make sure you guys play the tech test. Make sure you guys give constructive feedback. I can't wait to see you guys on that tech test. I'll talk to you soon.